Good night, Callum. Os. Elis, good night, Elis. Ale!
Tudo bem?
Tudo bom, e você?
I'm very good. It's so nice to see you.
Ah, nice to see you too. We miss you here.
I know I've been missing you guys like madly. It's been crazy not being able to be home, but being home,
Yeah, yeah. Oh, Ale, thank you so much as well for your time. I know that's pretty late. So tell where are you right now, Ale Moss?
so at the moment I am in San Diego, California. I can say I was lucky enough to make coming over and made it to the mecca of jiu-jitsu, but no one's allowed to train jiu-jitsu. How crazy is that? How
Ah, but
unique.
doesn't matter, doesn't matter. You are there. Yeah, you are there. So, Le, yeah, thank you so much. We know each other now for a few years. I respect a lot you. I have such admiration because, you're someone it's, fully chasing your dreams, and that's super cool, super, super cool. So, yeah, it's lovely to have you here tonight. And I'd like to start, Le, with let's get as much as we can about your BJJ journey. So let's
Uh,
so
bef-
so
yes,
first,
sorry.
before everything else, Ale, how are you doing? How are you doing during this time? It's a really, it's interesting times right now. So how's your mental health? So how are you doing during this time?
So first of all, just say hi to Professor Douglas. He just came over, so hi
Ah, yeah,
everybody.
Professor Douglas.
So I think the most important part, independent of a pandemic or any situation, is the mindset, the focus, right? Of course, it's very messy to be, like I said, you're chasing the dream, you arrive on next step, but we are not allowed to do jiu-jitsu right now. So what I'm thinking most of the time is which areas of my life I have to work on, like in regards of here I'm here in San Diego on the right spot. However, I can do jiu-jitsu. We're trying to provide some support for our community with videos like content of the academy, with the kids classes and our beginners classes that we have there. Because I'm here as a athlete. However, I love sharing, right? So, and also I've been very lucky to participate in a project with a friend of mine, very good friend. She has a page called Hibo Chibo, and we've been collaborating with each other since last year. So it was unfortunately that we are having time right now to spend into this project. And as we last year actually started writing in a book, and I'm being lucky to be the advisor for them as a BJJ outlet, uh, helping with the programming of the training and actually working out for those. So right now we decided, okay, we got this summer series that we gonna be releasing, working together, like me just collaborating. And what we're gonna do? No one can go to the gym, so how can we actually bring it on this idea for people of mindset, right? Because like everybody talks about mental health, but we forget this is there any day of your life. So I think it's sometimes it's good to get off the drama. It is a problem, it's happening. But keeping this drama is not doing any good service to anybody, if it makes sense. So we're
Yeah.
focused on getting free workouts every morning, every night. So every morning when you wake up, you have your free workout. Yes, I understand that financially is a very big part on right now in the rule that will decide if you can relax a little or not, or provide more study. But still, there is so much information on a very precious website called Google. Everything you need is there. So literally what I have been doing for the last 2.5 months, nearly 3 months, is studying. I've been studying crazy and using the time, like I said, for this project, People Chibol, and learning about video editing, video content, understanding it all. Like I've been playing with apps on my computer, on my phone, and it's been crazy because I don't see the day go. Like when I wake up in the morning, still every morning, 6 o'clock, go up to sleep late at night. And literally, I just finished my last video editing because I want to see how I can get the right movement and the right music. I don't like the music. Can I try get another app that facilitates that? So it's been quite busy. Um, Mindset is the main thing. I think jiu-jitsu is challenging. This is a challenging time. Don't bring me excuses saying again that, oh, I can't do jiu-jitsu, my life is over. Get out there. I will slap you in the face if you come up with this excuse to me, right? Get up, snap it, snap.
That's awesome. That's super cool. Yeah, it's good to hear you're doing well. Yeah, awesome message. So let's share a little bit about your your journey in BJJ. So when did you start BJJ and why did you start BJJ, Ale? And also of course what's look like be a woman in a sport when the majority are males.
Mm-hmm. So I started jiu-jitsu a little bit later, when I was 22 years old. Even though I'm from Brazil and I was living there, I never had this contact with the sport, right? So I saw judo, I saw a lot of Muay Thai or kickboxing, but at the time I didn't like the style. And when I was 22 years old, I had the pleasure to meet my academy and my professor, and the still nowadays. They welcome me on a perfect mindset again. Um, when I first started jiu-jitsu, I didn't understand what was going on. We didn't have many girls in the mats as well, but I was very lucky that my professor and my teammates, they were always very supportive. Like they always gave me tips. At the time, jiu-jitsu wasn't so well explaining how it is nowadays. It was pretty much like it is in New Zealand, or was in New Zealand like 5 or 7 years ago. It was porrada time all the time, right? We always like smashing each other and going hard and biting each other's ears. And that physicality called my attention because it was a control physicality. You go hard out and then you come out like, oh, what just happened? And that magic that happened on the situation, it did call like grab me at first, right? So I was very lucky at age 22 to find this academy, which was in north of Brazil, even though I'm from south. Um, I went to north of Brazil. I knew that I was going to transit around after my parents being moving to New Zealand. So I was trying to know a little bit from my culture, and I think it was a perfect place and the right time. It just happened, and since then I never stopped. And to be a female on a male sport, I have to say I'm very blessed. Nowadays, there's a lot of talk about having girls, training for girls, and I agree. I think you just need one good role model on the mats to pull on other girls. But I'll try to remind the girls that all what I know about jiu-jitsu today is being taught by guys. It's being taught by good professors. And it's being taught by from a professor, a male, to the whole team. And I was the one that paid attention. So you have to open your ears and stop again, think about, oh, I got no girls around. It is awesome if you do. If you don't, show up for training on the right time. Other girls gonna come over because you're there, and then you're gonna have more girls. So eventually, so I think it's fantastic being a female. I'm very blessed to have the boys trying to take my head off because I enjoy it, because I have to go hard back. Like you had to be like, that's physical. Oh, right, let's get it.
Hmm. That's awesome, Ale. So you started at the 22. So after you moved to New Zealand. So you're trained for a period of time in Tauranga, right?
Yes, yes. So most of the time that I was in New Zealand, I lived in Tauranga. Even though my parents were in Hawke's Bay for 4.5 years. Back then, I stayed there because I was doing MMA. I had a very good coaching team at the time, who I actually have a lot of my foundation of Jiu-Jitsu being built on that moment. It was a very special, how can I say, we say like training the dogs, because I came from Brazil as a fresh belt, and as I was competing a lot, every weekend we were competing, I never had the time to actually close the doors and bleed. Not on a real way, but like go through that mind grinding, in a challenge that you kind of sometimes you doubt yourself, thinking, can I really do this? And yes, you can, and it's provided by training, smart, and technique, right? But you have to go through that. And once I arrived in New Zealand, I had the opportunity to focus and kind of um, focus, but how can I say, like sink my head into it. Don't look to anything else around. Because by that time, I knew that jiu-jitsu was my 100%. I didn't have university to focus anymore. I just kind of cleared off all the pathways. I said, you know what? I made an agreement with my parents. If by age 30 nothing happened in jiu-jitsu, I will pivot. But it's challenge, and I just feel that I really need to do this. Like I was this passion that I need to choke someone.
And Ale, with the team, so talk a little bit about your team. So which team are you represent at the moment? Which school are you trained at the moment? So the connection started here, of course, in New Zealand, right? With you know, with Damien and all the guys. So you became affiliated to Clark Gracie, right?
Yes. So Professor Damien, which has been like since the first time we met, like same with you, Vanderson, it's been always a pleasure. Like some souls on this world, we just connect, we meet, and we just click very well. Like Felipe is right here again. So
Felipe, I'm gonna invite Felipe next as well. Felipe, we need to talk, Felipe.
yeah, let's talk. I want to see this live. And some of other lives as well. They are awesome. I was watch afters when you posted. It was really good. Professor Douglas was really good. Professor Pedro, those two that I saw, in Professor Jose.
Uh-huh.
That was juicy stuff. Anyways, so yes, Professor Damien. Since the first time, like you meet him, it's just this whole jiu-jitsu word walking towards you, right? Because like he's talking about techniques. Like, I'm so sorry, Professor. I can't get it. Can you just show me? And then you just get your body like on the washing machine because it's triangle and then moving around. And it was like first connection. So since the first time, Professor Damien, we had a great time. And every moment he decided to put out an event like yourself, I was there and always there supporting. He brought Professor Clark. Back then, it was actually I never thought about actually changing or moving teams or anything. It was later on when I slowly decided to walk away from MMA just because I was getting a little bit too on a state of mind that I wasn't enjoying anymore. And I knew the jiu-jitsu, being a jiu-jitsu black belt and become a world champion one day, it was my main goal. That was my challenge and motivation. So it was great, but I thought, you know what, I need to pivot because I'm not happy with this. So back then, on the second time when Professor Clark came around, we started to talk a little bit. And the third time, we had a serious conversation. He was asking me why I wasn't competing as a brown belt on the States. And I said to him, number one is the finances, number two is having affiliations, because if you want to compete on IBJJF, you have to have your belt being signed off from a professor, registered academy. Everything has to be really square. And I said to him, right now, at this moment, I'm actually thinking to stop doing training jiu-jitsu because, you know, I have to pay my bills. And he looked at me, he's like, look, I don't know what you're going to do. I just wanted to know if you want to come to States, you got a place to stay, a place to train. And and he said, and you don't have to worry about anything in regards affiliation. I just want to see you competing. And that was like, those moments are so important on a person's life, because this is one of my professor back in 2011. He said to me, Ali, I want you to compete. I said, no, professor, because I started training jiu-jitsu with injuries, right? Like my right knee, my meniscus were blown up.
Was your first coach, Ale?
My first
What's
professor is, his name is Ronaldo Cruz, and his nickname is Raspa. That means sweep. And yes, it does represent who he is. He is this massive heart. Like his heart is like a big mama. Like this, you know, he's always embracing everybody. And he gave me this belief that Clark gave me again, that you're good, but you can be better. And that's a great motivation. My professor Ronaldo Cruz, there's his first feeling, he activated this spark. The second time this activation happened is when he gave me the purple belt. He said, I know you're going away, and I know you're going to be like, in a couple of months' time, the purple belt is yours. I'm going to give you now because I know they're going to work hard. It made me feel like I want to work harder for it. Not because I want to prove to somebody, but it's like, he believes in me. He gives me this. I'm going to wear this t-shirt and I'm going to make him proud. You know, so this feeling, it's amazing. I think it's the best you can find. Professor Clark did the same. So back then he just told me, Ali, I don't care what you're gonna do. I don't want affiliation, whatever you think. I just want to see you competing. And that's how we began. So back then, it was this conversation with Damien about getting affiliation in New Zealand. And when Clark came over to Tauranga to do the seminar, because I was able to provide a support, and he came over, we were sitting after the seminar, we're sitting on the table, and I saw Professor Lucas looking to Clark with this face that you only see this face in rare times in life again. He was like in the Christmas morning, so happy to have this like his role model right beside of him, and I just was looking at that like watching them talk, and I'm like, you know what? I think we're gonna have a two affiliators of Clark Grace in New Zealand. And then I just thought of myself. I just let it, right? So next day I said to Clark, because he stayed at our place, so Professor, would you, I know this very like a little bit out of my line here, but would you be able to train with Lucas today? If I organize a train, you guys just train together so we can talk later. And that's how it happened. Those guys trained. Professor Lucas was like mind blowing. Christmas twice. Like you have a Christmas Eve and then Christmas Eve and then it's Christmas Day. That's how Lucas were so excited. And that's how we began our journey with the Clark Grace Academy. It's been great. It's been nearly 3 years right now. And the Hawke's Bay team, or team in Tauranga, are doing amazing. It's like it brought this combination of people that love each other, that we enjoy, we're very good friends. When we become Clark Grace Academy, you didn't have to justify our friendship anymore, because sometimes you just, it gets funny, and like, we don't care. You and I and other Professor Pedro, Felipe, we hang out, we just enjoy each other's company and respect each other, and that's it. But right there, we didn't have it anymore. So that's how we began our journey. I came over then after that, after our affiliation happened, I came over to the States for a couple of times. And since I got here for the first time, it's always been hard to leave. So yeah, this is me right now.
That's awesome. So listen, now your focus, it's 100% of being a world champion. That's your, and what's your routine towards achieve this goal?
Okay. So my focus for now should be world champion. Actually, I'm working already on my next 5 years. But yes, so like my focus now is like what is happening for the next 5 to 10 years. So right now, as a competitor, for sure, it kind of didn't change much of my normal routine, because I've been training full time for the last 7 years since I'm in New Zealand.
Mhm.
I've been working full time for this period of time, and I would say knowledge will be what changed from this whole period. So right now, I know my body. Of course, I built up a very solid foundation. So my muscle mass is really different than from 7 years ago. I did a couple of courses with a fitness instructor, personal trainer. I did nutrition. I'm not a nutritionist, but I did some nutrition courses to understand how things work for me, not for anyone
Yeah.
else. I want to understand what could I do better. So now I understand the routine, how to do my physical preparation, my conditioning, my jiu-jitsu, and what I changed will be more the training partners here. And I'm not the one actually teaching classes anymore. That's a big deal. I'll help on the classes for sure, but I'm here on another purpose. So I will support and be around, but the focus is when I go to class, I go to train, so I don't have to teach anymore. This is definitely, that's the main component that changed completely from New Zealand to being here. So the training partners make a massive difference, because I'm not the only one competing. And as again, it happened in New Zealand, I'm very blessed to always be able to train in other academies to visit, right? I'm always came to training with other people. I love going to open mats. I love meeting different body types, like different games. So this is what it changed, that not being teaching anymore and be able to train with more friends and their body types for sure.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. So, Liz, so technique about technique. So, what has been changing now for your mindset for competition? What's the techniques are you putting more attention at the moment?
Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So um it does. So as a brown belt, even though we compete as a black belt, like for example Abu Dhabi, I was able to go to Abu Dhabi last year, and we took over, the brown belts took over the podium, right? um
Yeah.
it was mind blowing. It was perfect. It was just like an amazing experience to be able to be part of. So from the black belt to the brown belt situation is, as a brown belt, you know that people that are training and competing, they have this much of knowledge, they experience, they've been through, right? But now as a black belt, I feel that the knowledge, it just went like from here, it just expand, and there is no more walls, there is no more gravity, there's nothing holding. So you can have a very fresh black belt and you can have a 10 years, 15 years black belt. That's a big deal, a big deal. So I, like, what I can say is I got my black belt in December. Professor Clark honored me because I actually, we talk about the last couple of years. I was asking how to get better, like talking about technique. I didn't forget the question, and I've been working since then. And the answer will be my guard, because I love, and that's no secret, I love smashing pots. Like I said, I love being physical, grabbing, squeezing, in tossing around. I love like gassing, makes me like feel like, oh my god, I have to recompose myself right now, because you chase the bone so badly that like you forget that you need to carry on for another 10 minutes now, right? So so back 2 years ago we started work on my guard. But as on what I felt the difference between December to January in the first competition, is this how versatile, or how the variety of experience changed everything, right? So nowadays, like, I don't have any bad opponent, or like a okay one. Everybody trains hard, everyone work as hard as I do, they sacrifice as much or more than I have done, and for them I have to do everything. However, I've been working on my guard since 2018. I asked Professor Clark if I, in a humble way, please don't take that like, hey Professor Clark, when am I gonna get my black belt? Like, never. With this behavior, this attitude, you're never getting a black belt. It wasn't like that. So I just ask you, please don't take me the wrong way, but if I want to progress towards a black belt, what do I need to get better on in my game? And he said, Ali, I think you have a good foundation. However, your guard is something you need to be very versatile on that, and bring a good variety on your game. So if the girl doesn't want to pull guard and they like you're on top and stalling and not going anywhere, maybe she got like advantage. You need to pull guard, sweep, and submit. So it's such a fair point. So when I got back to New Zealand in 2018, oh, Vladimir, big out there. We start working on guard. So guard is something that doesn't work as guard passing. I don't have to think when I'm passing the guard, but when I'm doing pulling guard, it's like, it's this brain just, I feel like it's gonna cook, So nowadays I really love doing open guard. I just ended up getting there, and the position that I like to work a lot is spider guard, shoveling to like getting right deep people, X guard, single leg X, and then just moving around, getting the back, so becoming underneath, going in and out. So it's been so much fun. I've been lucky to have good training partners here that can show me what to do from the X, single leg X. I just look to myself and I'm like, single leg X. And on the beginning, I was freaking out because of like, how did I ended up here? I was like, leg lock, leg lock, leg lock. But then you go for the leg lock and you lose it, of course. So that's what happens. You're like, for the rest of the round, like, just like, why did I do the leg lock? I should think better this time.
How's your omoplata now, Ale? How's your omoplata going? Holy, you training for the master of the omoplata.
I was at the last classes I had with Professor Clark was exactly talking about that. I said, Professor, I feel that I hit the kimura in from every angle on the competition. And I knew the omoplata was right there, but I wasn't confident to get it like we've been doing here. But the position I was getting, the arms were so perfect. So he said, okay, let's just talk about it. So, hey, it is different. I think every professor, for example, we have Professor André Galvão, who he is very good with his outside of reverse de la Riva. He's always playing, if he goes like takedowns, everything's really good, but his reverse and de la Rivas are really good. Josh Hinger with the guillotine. The system that you can learn with those guys, or Craig Jones for the heel hooks and leg locks. Let's leave the Craig Jones alone for now, right? Otherwise, some people are gonna start getting annoyed there. The system, it's a puzzle. That's what actually attracts me most in jiu-jitsu, not only the challenge of physicality, but how many puzzles can you build and how can you speed this up, right? So the omoplata, it's coming. I would love to be able to become one of the queens of omoplata, because at the moment we got other ladies playing on that role. So, I am the first female black belt represent Clark Gracie Academy. Give me some time. It will come.
Yeah, that's awesome. So Leah, now because your focus is competition, so how much attention are you giving on the leg lock subject? It's something you like to study, or because of course we have, as a competitor, you have the IBJJ rules, so it's a different mindset, right? But what's your mentality, what's your mindset, and what's your opinion, of course, about the leg lock game?
Look, leg lock and feet locks, they work. And if people want to say, no one ever got it in competition, all right, I think that if you say people never got it, so for example, my loss on my first no-gi comp here in the States, it was the words. Ta-da! You could go to smaller competition now, just go to the words. Yeah. So I learned by a girl who she submitted, not a leg lock, but she submitted everybody on a straight ankle lock, right? Everyone. I was the one that lasted a little bit longer with her, but everyone else's right in the beginning, she like 15, 30 seconds, 1 minute was down. So foot lock and leg locks, I think they are so close because everything you bring in there, heel hooks. I know we don't allow the IBJJF, but that system, that line of work, they are so connected. You cannot start attacking one and let it go and pretend you didn't start the rest. So to play and to train leg locks, foot lock, and heel hook, I always say choose a training partner that you can trust, because you're gonna twist your knee somehow every time you're playing around, especially if you get heel hooks, because you start entering the calf slices the whole segment, the lower body area, right? So you have to trust this person. And once you started, I like to let's start from the setup. So you can start pull guard and go for the like flying triangles and umbers where you kind of precise. So we drew that as well, getting this enter for the leg lock, pulling guard, and grabbing straight away, as is one of the ways, one of the techniques that you have to pay a lot of attention. The difference with competing for the guys and the girls, they are very flexible, they're very agile, and they will look for those special joints on the knee, for example, where they can get a lot of traction. And I got at least 3 people, one in particular, that it will attack on that. It's her whole game is based on that. So I got a little bit greedy on my last comp again with no-gi in San Jose, which I saw her back, didn't clear my knee enough to get her back. But you see what greediness does? You want it so badly because you feel it so close. I went for the back. My knee went the other way. Didn't got hurt, but it was tight. Good on her. I came back home and I'm working on that. So leg locks are efficient. You do have to break it down. And again, like X Guard. You remember when X Guard came around and with Professor Marcelo, everybody was just freaking out. And then slowly you analyze the system, break it down piece by piece. Again, the puzzle. The puzzle got all one. You have to reverse. So the leg locks, foot lock, heel hook is the same thing. With I think Professor Craig Craig Jones. Um, I never say his name well, and that's
Lock,
my fault.
Lock and Giant.
John, yes, John
Yeah.
Dunham, right? I
Mhm.
love watching them. I do my best to get the details, but you have to train. You have to get a training partner and set up and ask and communicate. Feedback is really important. You nearly had it. You need to get your hip here. If you don't have a training partner that you can get this, it is tough.
Mhm. That's awesome, Lee. Well, Lee, let's talk a little bit about we had amazing experience here with the camp, and also, and I think what was really cool, since from the beginning as well, when you contact me, for the first time to see how we will make that work, and I saw the process, how, and I think what was really cool to see about you as well was the way you was handle because organize a event that big. We have what, 60 girls on the
We had
mat, right?
actually on the mats, the data we got, we had 74 girls plus the little ones. We almost had around 90
74.
girls on the mat. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's a lot of people, a lot of organization, and and we had few. Of course, it's normal, no few little things here and there, and you managed to handle that so well, with so much kindness, with so much compassion, and I think that was super super cool, Ale. And also, it was definitely one of the highlights of our academy here because we had so many girls, from all over the place, and also, we had Letícia Ribeiro, Bia Mesquita. Awesome, was super cool to see, the mindset. I was there behind of the desk, during the whole day, taking notes and paying so much attention. I learned so much from that whole experience, and also see, girls from all over New Zealand, Australia. We had, someone from Canada, Japan,
Mm-hmm.
US. It was amazing. It was such a cool experience, right? Very, very unique.
I think I was very lucky to have a great team behind me, like yourself. Since we first met, I think you were the one that planted the seed of always aim not only for the best but for excellence, right? So we're gonna talk about this situation very soon, our taxes event. And like, tell me on the day that when you decided you're gonna build our taxes and you're gonna make the first sub only competition in New Zealand. For me, was the best sub only that I seen still in the history of New Zealand. I think you understand better than anybody, and you were a massive influence on that and inspiration to build that event. So the moment I decided to put the event together, your name came to my head, and I knew how could I try to actually get all the girls of Australasia together. I didn't want that to be my thing, like my thing. I want those girls for myself. I actually wear on the shoes of the old girls on the mats where how can we be with the best girls in the world, the best coach, the best female fighter? How can you kind of connect that? Because now I'm here in San Diego. Professor Clark were able to provide this bridge for me to step into this world class and um, now to wear I'm like wearing this jacket, like wearing this t-shirt, right? But seeing on that side how we can provide this feeling to all those ladies that love the passion for jiu-jitsu, they have a great team back home, but I never had the opportunity to have the experience to see like a female coach and athlete, a high level athlete. So um, when we brought this to Wellington, it was basically because I want to make sure I had the right people behind. So when if things went wrong, even if you're gonna organize, like I had like tons of checklists and spreadsheets to put it together because I want to provide security for Leticia and for B as well, with both professors coming over because they didn't know me, right? Like I could be a crazy lady that arrive on the airport, no, like, and then bring them to the backyard, like that's my house. I'm gonna lock you here. I think it was very fortunately to have the right people to work with, and Leticia and Bia, they were amazing with me as well. They always made it everything possible, and that's the difference when you work for people. They always do their best and look for excellence in every single area of their lives. So you providing this space and not like making any like drama or trying to make it hard to build this event there. You said, this is your home, let's work together. This is my rules. I like things this way. We're like, perfect. That's combination. You're right. So then from there, I went and talked with a couple other people who ran Girl Geese, the Shama Co, ask a lot of questions to her to know, look, to build an event like this, what do I need to know? What I need to look for? Then I spoke for Molly, one of the ladies from Sweaty Betties, which organized the previous events like that before. So those people are really important. And then I had my girls from my team who actually told me, Leticia wants to come to New Zealand. I was like, okay, let's talk to them. Then we started to build up this slowly. And then you got Crystal with you that started like she embraced it. She put the t-shirt on and said, let's do it. So all those people around were able to provide some support. And then Anna with the yoga. Anna's been with me since day one. When I said I'm gonna open my own business, she's like, I think you should. And guess what? This is what I think you were. And then she called me like, you were the Wonder Woman. And I was like, excuse me? And that's my Instagram page, right? Because that she for me like, this is a way I see you. And then I started to think about it. Actually, this is how like my life and my events or whatever, because back then I didn't thought about creating the event. So everything I'm gonna put in my head on, I'm gonna work on the line of thought. Even if I didn't know how to put an event together, I knew the feeling I want to give to people. And that's what I keep searching at all times. Make sure that everybody is having a good time. I had a ball, and everybody, I still have a message for the girls and see their eyes through like see myself through them for each lady on the mat, each person that came in herself. That was the main goal. So for me, have this opportunity to bring this side of the world together on the same spot, that was magic.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
was amazing. It was incredible. Yeah, the experience. I remember talking to Leticia and Bia, and I said, oh, the only thing I want from you guys is take a class for us. Teach us. Teach everybody. And I remember there being during the class all day long, teaching. During the night, the energy didn't change. It was exactly the same. They no, who started here, and started teaching, and everybody enjoying so much the energy, the level of techniques as well. Because holy, who Leticia and Bia, they both combined the knowledge and the titles and all those things. It was amazing. But even before that, Ale, remember when I contact you and I said, hey, Ale, I really want to give a gift to my girls here, right? I really want to give a gift to my girls, and can you come here and give a seminar for us, and that was another amazing experience, and also, of course, you, took the class for us as well, and it was super cool, really, really cool.
I think these two events connected really well. So
Mm-hmm.
that was like 2018 when I went with you, and it was literally my first trip to the States. I came back, and literally I feel that the universe just started changing everything around for me with the jiu-jitsu. And you were a very important piece on that moment because um, Then moving forward, 2019, where we got Leticia and Bia on the mat, there was me starting to see how important we are, male or female, we all are somehow a coach. We can always share the experience, and and we all have a system of training, right? Very particular, very important. And then seeing those ladies, 2018, like they break down the whole like guard pass, guard pull, each technique for submission. They can bring so deep down and break these layers so well. So have a person like yourself, like my professor in Brazil, here, Clark, Pedro, Professor Jose, Professor Douglas, all you guys have the same thought. You always give it the opportunity for those who want to lead or try to take the role. So I was very fortunately that I was able to be there, teach the seminar. 'Cause for me, it was a great motivator, especially when you need to make money for jiu-jitsu, right? And like I just came out from a very expensive trip to the States because everything is self-funded. Everything I do in jiu-jitsu is paid from my own money. Apart from now, I got Fuji Made, I sponsored for the geese, which they were amazing for the camp as well. And I have another Hassan, everybody that kind of came together and really embraced it and get goodie bags for the girls. They were very nice. But that motivator of how to pay your bills are really important. And you are very important, like you have an extremely important component in giving me the opportunity, but also giving a gift for the girls. And that was the first connection. So for the camp to happen like nearly 2 years later, it couldn't be elsewhere. I think that, like you said, for me, seeing those girls teaching all day, because we all do that, but we never see others. When you can see somebody that being through a journey like yours or harder or more, it's very inspiring. So I was very happy to be able to see you as well on that smile and having the girls teaching a class for your team. Like seriously, like this is the jiu-jitsu beauty. Like with a rugby, NBA, or soccer, you never really meet your heroes like face to face and talk as equal. Jiu-jitsu just had this beauty, and I know it's cheesy. Everyone says that, but hey, once you go through the experience, then we know we can talk about it.
Yeah, that's so true, Ale. That's amazing. Well, let tell a little bit about so what's look like a class with Clark Gracie there. So it's something every time it's a different technique, or do you guys train I don't know one set of technique for a period of time? So how that works? Tell a
So
little bit about the routine there.
right. So we start as a like we have a book that we follow every year. Clark's go there and just implement more things or take out what is not working so well. But basically, we follow a system. So for the kids, for the beginners, for intermediate, and for the advanced. So basically, every week we have a technique that we're working on. So that class is always based with self-defense. So warm up, then we have our kind of quick mobility stretch. Then we have a self-defense, takedown, technique, and then position sparring, then sparring. So it's very specific. So we always know on that week what we're gonna learn, but every day is like a new position, like transition from the beginning. So we have a beginner from on the beginner's class, how is the setup of the position, which I love going to the class. The next class, we start playing, depending on the professor, what the characteristics are going to be. So, for example, we have Professor Brandon, which is all about triangles. So he always can set up and is really good on his old guard is just a killer. And then we have another guard player that's Sinistro, Francisco Sinistro. Again, guard player, but different game. He's very focused. He always can like destabilize you. Nobody feel like there's no one, doesn't matter their body weight, like how big they are. Nobody can feel that they can keep their base on top of Sinistro. everyone, they feel like they are always on an earthquake. So, right? Professor Clark, which again, Professor Clark, he has actually a very good complete game. Like even that we talk about omoplatas all the time, his takedown is great. His guard pulling is great. His passing is good. Is fantastic. So it's a very complete. So we are lucky to have this kind of set. So every time we go for class, those professors they best in Clark always bring the ask to that to them. Say, look, teach something that works for you, that you've done it so many times that you can't forget. And that's what they do. They break it down and teach it. But we do follow a system. So every week, if we're doing like close guard this week, next week's gonna be open guard, and then guard from the bottom. Sorry, guard pass, then side control, and so on. So we always follow a system. And then from there, like I said, then the positions he can specify a little bit. I don't know, X guard, but normally this is how we follow the system: takedowns, self-defense, and technique.
That's awesome. That's super cool. Well, Leo, we're getting close to the end of our time here, Leo. Oh, super cool to talk to you. You know, you're so knowledgeable, and it's super cool to see, your progression. I wish you nothing more than, the best of the best, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna see you on the podium lots of times, yeah. You're amazing, and thank you so much as well, for the trust that you bring all those events, to us. That's super cool, and I really hope, we can work together again in the future and make more events, and bring you back to New Zealand. That's gonna be cool to see you back as a black belt.
I know.
Also, just before, please send a message, Ale, to the people here in New Zealand, and also, for our community. The idea of those lives is to connect us, to make sure, to check on everybody, and to send a message to our community. So please feel free to, thank your sponsors as well. It's,
Sure.
it's your time.
So I like just to bring like mindfulness to everybody. I think we never had this opportunity, like the quarantine situation, everything's happening on everyone thought they're gonna be separated, right? But like this with you having the live, all the professors around are having their lives. Like yesterday I was watching Clark Gracie and Leticia Ribeiro talking, so seeing those women who are, look, when I started, I saw them as a top fighter, as a black belt. It's been really inspiring. So I always say, keep it like your mindset. Watch, there's so many good lives happening right now. I now feel like very connected. Those people will never take the time, or they couldn't take the time before to talk. So now they're having this conversation. So, stay tuned for those mindset. Talk, like, start to study those people that inspire you, because regardless the pandemic, life is always going to bring another pandemic or another situation. So like read books, or like yourself, I love that you share those books, and the list of them I thought was great. I actually reposted from you, because it's this mindset, right?
Yeah.
So the productivity comes from you being determined in achieving a goal. And the goal doesn't matter how small or big they are, you're right, so it's just literally thinking how many steps I need to take there, how many steps I need to take before I escape or tap on a leg lock, right?
Yeah.
So basically that's what I talk about. So I would like to just bring this awareness. There's nothing actually stopping you to be free. You can't leave your house and be with people, but you got like internet, and you literally need to connect or watch people, like right now, being able to talk good quality of content. Hopefully that we provide that today.
Of course.
But also with yourself, be more kind with yourself, like less judgment. And I'm terrible on that, and I always keep working, like less self-judgment, more praising, because we forget where we came from. Sometimes we keep always raising our expectations, but we sometimes we like whip ourselves too much. So that's what I would say in general. For New Zealand, one thing I would say is, if you can invest on your journey of jiu-jitsu to travel, like in Australia, other places, so you can just train of other training, like another level of a training partners. If you can't go outside, go to the States or to Brazil or to Australia, just travel to another state, another town, and go and visit like the bigger team and be nice to them and just literally genuinely be nice, not just because you want to train. And go there, don't do a contest, but go there to learn, and you're gonna see how many doors gonna open to you, right? So that's what I would say for us in New Zealand. I miss home, but I feel that's the right time to be here in the States
Yes.
right now. It's been a decision that's been really well strategized, and I would like to be able to provide everyone to have experience like this, to go to a place where it will provide as much knowledge as possible in any area, if it's jiu-jitsu your area or medicine, whatever it is, that you can be there one day. Does clicks things do click in a different way. I would love to be able to share again everything that I feel and what it brings to me on the mats, because again, it is about competition, but it's a daily life, and that's what Sinistro always stays on the before competition. The competition day is today. The way you train, the way you take care of yourself, the way you eat, it's gonna be there on the same day. So today you won the competition, not on the competition day. So train like you're competing, eat like you're competing, not being over aggressive, but always have the mindset. So it's not about, because in the moment you get there, it's not gonna be about the pressure, it's gonna be about how you get in your mindset, right? So yeah, that's what I would say. Again, I would like to thank you because you were the first one that provide my first sponsorship. With a Texas event, you called me and say, Ali, oh, let's get a girls fighting. And I was like, oh my goodness, that's really cool. So thank you for giving me this understanding and the belief that I could make this as a living, to be a professional athlete, to one day be a professional receiving for teaching and everything. You were a person that actually made me understand that jiu-jitsu can be a career plan, and you actually made it happen. So thank you so much. So you were the first one, because after that Texas, Fujime, I spoke Fujime with Renee, which has been like my amazing, like Renee is just fantastic from Fujime. And first time we connect again. So he's my sponsor, Solid on Jiu-Jitsu. He was right behind us on the girls event. Then Hassan Aleppo with the soaps, they're right behind us supporting. So I would say I'm very lucky. If I could tell people like to as a providing for themselves that don't do jiu-jitsu, just always do your best, and like it's your work at home, no procrastination, just whatever. Don't stop when you're tired, just stop when you're done. So give your best always.
Oh, Le, man, you're a beautiful person, Le. Yeah, I admire you a lot. So yeah, we're gonna always here watch you and support you no matter what. So yeah, for sure, we're gonna talk again. We're gonna connect again. This is just the beginning, right?
For sure it is, and
Yes.
congratulations for starting this idea of the lives and bringing the jiu-jitsu scenario in New Zealand. It's uplift, right? So I really, when I saw your lives, I thought it was fantastic idea. And again, connecting people, so it doesn't matter where you are, it's a very special moment. So well done for that. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Ale. So Le, talk to you soon. Thank you so much.
Night. Bye.
Bye.